Welcome back to Chapter 16 of A Court of Blood and Bindings, Justifying Torture and Murder, Excusing the Morally Gray Hero. Short summary, in this chapter, Creon is ordered to torture and kill another island of humans, a place named Rhudak. This makes both Emmeline and Creon depressed, and Em decides to run off to the labyrinth for sympathy while Creon is gone. The labyrinth turns out to be sentient, and Em begins befriending it through flattery. Detailed summary. After Emmeline's meeting with Lynn in the previous chapter, Em runs home to Creon's pavilion, feeling very sorry for him and wanting to hug him, thinking about how to rebuild his trust and comfort him. She finds Creon on the porch looking depressed. Turns out he has to publicly torture and execute some rebellion survivors in a place named Rhudak. Quote, kill people, he was going to kill them, the rulers who'd seen the injustice their people were suffering, who'd taken that brave, reckless risk to challenge the Crimson Court itself in a desperate attempt to improve life on their island, and now they would die for having been nothing but decent, and it was going to be Creon who, end quote. Em asks if Creon can let the humans secretly escape, like he did for her island of Cathra in Chapter 2, but Mother's orders are to publicly torture and execute them to send a message to other humans thinking of rebellion. Creon cannot spare them, telling Emmeline all sorts of reasons as to why this time he can't secretly let everyone escape, like he did in Em's hometown of Cathra. Quote, she wants it public. She'll tell me to take their families instead, end quotes. Em and Creon are both distraught over what he has to do about Creon's orders. Em pleads with him to find a way to spare the humans. What do you think, his fingers snapped at me, I've been doing for 130 years? Creon snaps at her in sign language, and they have a bit of a mini-fight about it, and he takes off alone to do his job. Alone while Creon is on his mass torture and murder mission, Em worries and feels guilty. Not for the victims, but for Creon. She feels helpless until she gets the bright idea to return to the labyrinth by herself, while Creon is gone. She admits it's a crazy idea, using the word reckless 4 times in a page, but that doesn't stop her. She goes anyways. Even though she and Creon were recently caught in the labyrinth by a guard, and this time she won't have Creon protecting her, she still goes. At the labyrinth, Emmeline flirts with the mountain, her words, not mine, which seems to respond in gusts of warm air as affirmatives. Quote, I cautiously laid my hand against the smooth tunnel wall and said, hello, beautiful. A gust of warm air hit me in the face. Sorry it's taken me so long to return, I said, ignoring the fact that I stood here flirting with a mountain, and praying that I wasn't interpreting the signs entirely wrong, that I wasn't somehow antagonizing this place through my transparent attempts at flattery, end quote. Don't worry, Emmeline has enough plot armor that she uses cheesy pickup lines on the mountain, complimenting its physical looks, rather than trying to find a point of common interest or a more empathic choice. Emmeline continues to flatter and compliment the magical mountain, which seems to be pleased by her attention. When the mountain is pleased, it responds with warm gusts of air. She says, I'm guessing you don't like the Fae too much, I concluded. I can imagine, really. They just burst in here to build that palace above you, didn't they? So rude. They probably didn't even ask for your permission, end quote. After all the wrist-grabbing and contrived setups where Creon has to pretend Em is his human sex slave, just so Emmeline can maintain her moral purity, this book really just drops a line about consent, as if it has the moral high ground. Quote, a dusty sense of cold swept past me. Had I said something wrong, or was the labyrinth simply angry at the mere memory of those past transgressions? I'm going with the first explanation, although the book implies the latter. She also worries the mountain might just kill her if it happens to be on Mother's side. Worrying doesn't stop her from risking her life without Creon's help, though. With the power of plot armor, Em manages to quickly build a rapport with the mountain through their mutual hatred of Mother. She also has a moment of therapy with the mountain, vaguely hinting that she is stressed about Creon having to torture the rebellious humans of Rhudak. She says, I didn't want to come here and upset you, I promise. I just don't know what to think anymore. Don't know what I'm doing anymore, ... The mountain responds with sympathy, then lights up a glowing path for Em so she can map out a path that goes under Mother's throne, her supposed weak point. The mountain labyrinth is now clearly her ally. Successful, Emmeline goes home. Emmeline's home is Creon's pavilion, which he totally didn't abduct and kidnap and hold her hostage in. Analysis. This chapter is supposed to build further sympathy for Creon, explaining how he is forced to do Mother's evil bidding and that he's the real victim here, because it hurts him more than his victims. That's doubly true in the next chapter, where it's revealed that Creon magically absorbs his victims' pain in order to mercy kill them. Never mind the fact that only physical pain is absorbed, not psychological or emotional pain. People still have to watch their loved ones being tortured to death, unaware that they're under magical anesthesia. This chapter also serves to rebuild the reader's credence in Emmeline's righteousness. After the big sex scene in chapter 14, Emmeline is rebuilt as a righteous woman, dumbly down on her conviction to stop Mother's evil, for the sake of humanity, for Creon, and for her magical allies Lyn and Tarid. Mother is a woman in power who administers violence. She is the big bad villain of the series, which makes her easy to blame for almost everything. Why did the author choose to make Creon's mother the ultimate villain instead of his demon father? Is it because a woman in power is more easily perceived as monstrous or unnatural? Why does Emmeline choose to use a gendered insult, calling Mother a faceless bitch stealing our food and money? There were so many other options here besides a gendered insult, and yet the main character chooses to express her grievances through misogynistic language. The mother, with her ironically maternal name, seems to be the sole source of all violence and evil in the story. The author could have chosen to depict a more systemic form of evil by distributing oppressive power amongst the other Fae, instead of making Mother the autocrat responsible for everything bad. Final thoughts for this chapter. Throughout the book, Emmeline has been repeatedly robbed of agency when it comes to her sexuality. Instead, Creon pushes her in contrived situations where she has to perform sexuality or die. And yet, when a woman is shown to have complete autonomy in the character of Mother, she is depicted as unequivocally evil. So, if Emmeline shows sexual agency, the author suggests she is shameful and immoral, and when Mother shows agency, she is depicted as pure evil.